Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Ashley. I'm doing another Vaporwave review today. The album I'm going to look at is Land of Sunshine, State of Dreams. It's DMT track number 3, and it's by Ed Asner, Secretary of Defense. Not Ed Asner, like the narrator guy, but I'll get to that. Um, so Ed Asner, I guess, has done a bunch of different documentaries, and one of them inspired this person, Ed Asner, Secretary of Defense, to make this album. It was a documentary about Florida, and yeah, throughout the album, you can see the influence that uh, the documentary had on the album. And the way that the artist describes it is educational ambient. Um, it's interesting to say the least. He said, the first attempt at a new genre of many in my early DMT tape Florida experiments. It's meant to be an informational vaporwave release specifically about the state of Florida. So I think it's a cool concept and I like it. So I'll just start right from talking about the first track. And keep in mind, a lot of these tracks are really short. The longest one is 2 minutes and 16 seconds, or actually, sorry, 2 minutes and 29 seconds is the longest one. So, like, if it seems like I'm only talking about them for like 30 seconds, it's because it's literally like there's not much in the song. I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts on it. So the first track, it was the first track, Florida Humanities Council Convoy Tent. It was really ambient. It felt like you were leaving a jungle and seeing a waterfall. That's kind of like the image I got in my head. If you've heard Visualization by Blank Banshee, it kind of gave me that vibe. And then on to the second track, Youth of Fountain. It flows with track 1, and it felt kind of like an electronic church rave, like more electronic the than the other tracks and the album for sure. It's the most electronic one. And then on to track 3, All Is Possible in Florida. Again, it flowed with track 2, so like the first 3 tracks fit together really well, and I liked that about the album. Um, but the only thing I didn't like about track 3, it was like the background noise is the same as track 1, but it's just playing the documentary over top. And then when you get to track number 4, Georgia Border Patrol, it turns dark for like the next like 3 tracks, even like 4 tracks really. Um, it's like kind of like a spooky feeling. I like that the mood changes from the first 3 tracks. Um, the part in the documentary that they're using by track number 4 is like about World War II, and it's more sinister and it feels spooky. And that kind of continues into track number 5, World War II and Wings Over Florida. Um, it's a little less sinister than track number 4. And it's playing the documentary in the background. It's like a little funky kind of in the background. I really like that part. Um, and like I said, not quite as dark as the track before it. And then we go on to track number 6, Kyotovapor Orange Groves. This is the coolest title in the album for sure. It's got like some Young Lean in there, got some Vaporwave in there. It's definitely the most Vaporwave track of the album. And this one is like, it makes you think more because the way that the sounds are kind of organized, it's almost disorienting and it makes you more imaginative when you're listening to it. And it does this on a few different tracks in the album, but this track specifically, it has split audio channels. So like if you're wearing headphones like I am, like it's kind of panning over the different sides, and it's a more in-depth experience. I'd recommend if you're gonna listen to this, listen to it on headphones. On to track number 7. Um, it's noisy and then it gets ambient, and then there's kind of like a spooky background with an upbeat foreground. Again, it's like the track before, and it made you think a little bit more about what you were listening to because there was more things going on. And this is another one of those tracks where like the documentary is the main part of it. Like it's mostly just the documentary talking, and you're kind of just trying to listen to the background noise too. Um, and then on to track number 8, the Florida Vacation. Um, it's more ambient noise, really similar to track 7. Talks about Florida tourism and space, which I liked. Like it talks about them in conjunction. It's like like the track's called the Florida Vacation, and then part of the documentary is like talking about space. I thought that it was funny. Like their heads are all up in space or something. I don't know exactly what they were trying to say, but I thought it was a good joke, a good goof. Again, the documentary was very prominent in this track. And track 9, it's like it's not really like a track. It was only 12 seconds long. It's called Oscar Jack Smith LSD User. Like I don't know if the point of that title was to be like, yeah, he's on acid. Like he thought he made a song, but like he didn't. I don't know if that was the joke, but that's what I'm gonna say is the joke. On to track number 10, Tallahassee, Florida. It's very ambient and like vaguely kind of white noisy almost. There's no talking, and it's like a nice break from the documentary because like most of the tracks have been playing prominently the documentary as like their main sound. Um, on to track 11, Oscar Jack Smith DMT User. It does the split audio channel thing again, panning back and forth, but it was like way more prominent in this track than in track number 6. If you've ever seen that video from, or seen, it's not really about seeing, it's about listening. If you've ever listened to the video, Virtual Barbershop, it came out so long ago on YouTube, but it's like that, like when that first became a thing where people were splitting their audio channels up and somebody's like walking back and forth across the sides and you can hear that they're moving throughout your headphones. It was really interesting to listen to. Track number 12, How to Wake Up from the Florida Dream State, featuring Calusa Eisenhower. Um, it was more imaginative, but back to the documentary being like the main focus. And it builds up a little towards the end using the split audio channels and like the music in the background gets more quickly paced towards the end of the song. So when I got to track number 13, End of DMT trip, I was kind of expecting something like louder, like more of like a bang to go out with, you know, but like I didn't really get closure on the album. It didn't really connect too well to track number 12. And I don't think the last one like matched the name. Like I didn't feel like it was a good end to the album, especially with like a lot of vaporwave albums, um, or other subgenres of vaporwave. They're concept albums, so like you go through and like there's like a distinct bigger picture that you can tell that you're supposed to be getting when you're listening to it, and then the songs individually with their own meanings. But with this, I didn't really feel like I got that. Like tracks 10 through 12 went together, and tracks 1 through 3 went together, but like I don't really think anything else was like super connected other than the fact that it was using the same documentary for all of them. You know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like at the end of the album I got closure. But that being said, overall thoughts, I thought it was really interesting to listen to, and it is like a new kind of genre, this educational ambient. So maybe I'm just not opening my mind enough to it, but like I feel like when I listen to vaporwave or other similar genres, I kind of am going for definitely more ambient, and I don't want to have to listen to what's being said to me. I'm just trying to like chill. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to chill, and I didn't really get that because like I was listening to it too much for the educational part, you know. But yeah, overall, like it was interesting to listen to, and I enjoyed it. Maybe a little too much documentary for me, but yeah, I will be adding it to my library because they add everything I download to my library, and I thought it was good. So I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know if you want me to make some more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.